Here we go. Episode 113 in 2023. Hey, that almost rhymes. So happy new year to everyone. And this time we have, me and we have Bennet, and we have Holly coming at you live. And probably a quiet start. Everyone getting used to using the computer again. At least I am. We have one piece of news I want to start off before we go to you, Bennett, on the extension, and that is it's T-shirt time, and also Quarkus three times. So Quarkus 3 is still in the works. The exact release date is not yet defined, but it's gonna be in this start of the year. Normally we've done this thing where we hand out a T-shirt for anyone who've contributed, like made a commit into the Quarkus release. And it's no different this year, except that this year we're actually trying to get the T-shirt out for the launch rather than N months after. So that's why you already probably some have received a email looking something like this, where you can see, we are asking you if, hey, we've seen you in the logs of commit logs. We contact you and you want to fill out a form, and in there you put the name, address, and stuff, and T-shirt sizes and shapes. This time we actually have both a male and a female version. Many thanks to Holly to remind us that, hey, not all T-shirts fit everyone. So that's good. So, and we just wanted to highlight this because we actually got people asking, is this a scam? Because Quarkus 3 wasn't out yet. And it's not. It's a good one. And if you contributed a code and you haven't received it yet, there could be two reasons. One, you have on your GitHub said that you did not want to be contacted by email, and therefore we won't, which we oblige, and therefore we won't contact you. So if you want to get contacted, then you should, flip that switch. Or you've contributed after we extracted the list of users. But the idea is that once we get closer, we'll do another round of the people who got in between now and the final release. So yeah, that's the update. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to my first I Made Quarkus T-shirt.
Yeah, you came in. Yeah. Actually, I could go and put like the T-shirt, the 1 and 2 behind here, and have the third when we get it. So have the collection. So anyway, that was the one bit I want to remind people, and in 23. And yes, it's not a scam. People are asking for your email to get sent you.
Quarkus-based phishing.
Yes. Anyway, so in this episode, we are actually kind of continuing the tradition we started a few months ago of trying to reach out to all the Quarkus extensions, or not all, the ones you could find in the Quarkiverse and beyond, and to kind of get people on and explain like what they've made, how it works, what was fun, what was not fun, and just get to see what's happening. And this episode is no different. We have Bennet on to talk about what was it called again? Logging CloudWatch.
Before Bennet goes, though, can I do my little seasonal introduction? Because this is we sort of said at the beginning, Happy New Year, and this is the first Quarkus Insight of 2023, which is very exciting. So we should have some seasonal content. And I don't know if it's the same where you are, but when I turn on my TV in December, it's just all sort of turkeys and Christmas trees and perfume adverts. And then I really notice it if I watch TV in January, that all of a sudden everything is completely different, and it's all fitness programs and salads and that kind of thing. And I think it seems like we're in a completely different world because we're talking about Quarkus, but I think actually we can do the same thing, because in December, the theme really is joy, and that's very Quarkus-y. And then in January, the theme is salad, which is sort of less Quarkus-y, but I think it still works, because when we think about, put your application server on a diet, that's exactly Quarkus, right? And it's like also, make your application server faster and stronger by sending it to an exercise class, and that's Quarkus. So we are completely in tune with the seasons, just by accident.
Sure, perfectly. It reminds me of someone on Twitter asked in general, like, can you explain to me, I said, 5, what does GraalVM and Quarkus IO do for my application? And the one I came up with, like, imagine that you're running 100 meter in 10 seconds. That's pretty well. That's what good elite athlete does. If you start using Quarkus, you will be able to run it in like 5 seconds and less, with less energy and high performance. And if you add GraalVM into the mix, you'll be under a second, meaning you can run more races and win more things. And that's what Quarkus does for 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It'll be the year of what's it called? Visual pictures of no. Yeah, anyway. It'll be good. Man, it's good to have vacation. Okay.
Even though we can barely remember our name when we come back.
Anyway, Haiku, what have the Romans ever done to us?
Oh.
That seems very much out of.
I think he's watching a different podcast.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's what it does. Anyway, so Bennet, let's go back to you. Who
all right.
are you and why are you here?
Actually, I'm here because I created a Quarkus extension together with Heiko Rupp and Gwenek Lepage.
So Heiko is one of your
Heiko was part of my team when I worked at Red Hat.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So today I would like to introduce or to get other people know about the Quarkus extension, which is dealing with logs, application logs, and AWS CloudWatch. That's today's topic.
Awesome.
I know
you got some slides, so if you want to do that, then we can take it from there.
So I will just start screen sharing.
Yeah.
There it is.
And while we wait on that one, just you get your screen ready.
Do you use the screen now?
Yeah, in 2 seconds we can. I'm just going to say that everyone that's online, they can post questions on whatever chat medium they're on, and then we will try and interrupt you and get an answer for it. But your screen is visible now, so you can go ahead with your.
Yeah. So welcome everybody. I'm happy to be here, and thanks for your invitation. My name is Bennet. My Twitter handle is Bennetelli. It's like for the soccer fans of you, I got it from Mario Balotelli after he shot 3 or 4 goals against Germany some years ago. I'm working as a software engineer, or right now it's called IT consultant, which is pretty much the same, but with different project and different time and stuff like that. My company is called Centric, which is a German-based consultancy. In my free time, I'm part of the org team of the Javaland conference, which is in Brühl on the Phantasialand in Germany once a year. Also helping with other things at the Java from Nord, which is a 1-day conference in Hanover. And when there's time left, I'm also maintaining the Toggles library, which is a Java library dealing with feature toggles. That's pretty much it. And as I said before, I would like to talk about the Quarkus logging extension for AWS CloudWatch. And so what the extension is doing is, basically it sends the application logs to AWS CloudWatch.
Just because I commented on this before we started, that I went and read the docs for your extension, and it doesn't actually explain what it does. It just say it sends log to CloudWatch. So maybe can you just highlight what is AWS CloudWatch for us who?
I would come to that later with the next 2 or 3 slides. But good to know. I think I need to update the documentation anyway. So it's obviously not that clear for everyone what AWS CloudWatch is. That's a snippet from the application logs console within my IntelliJ, and as you can see, there is a greeting resource which is saying Quarkus rocks. So that's what you get when you just add a logger to your Quarkus application and just log something. So when you add that extension, you get this for free, of course, but you also get, that's a snippet from AWS CloudWatch, you get the logs published to AWS and stored there, and you get visible and covariable and stuff like that. You can add metrics and so on. That's basically what you get for free within 2 or 3 steps. That's what the application is doing, or not the application, what the extension is doing. So just maybe interesting for someone why we created that extension. Actually, we needed something to get logs from our application to Kibana, and if I remember correctly, there were performance issues when putting that stuff directly in Kibana, and there was something else I remember. Yeah, never mind. So it wasn't that easy to get it in Kibana directly, so we used CloudWatch as a bridge from the application itself via CloudWatch to Kibana.
So just for, again, CloudWatch, AWS CloudWatch is not just for gathering logs when you're running in Amazon. You can run it.
You can use CloudWatch for just the same as Kibana, but I mean, CloudWatch is for free, for example, and Kibana is, I think it's expensive. But during my time at Red Hat, we used Kibana, and I think the feature set is much richer than the CloudWatch one, but it comes with a price.
And is CloudWatch the service or the library or both?
No, CloudWatch is actually an AWS service. Okay, wait. So all I wanted to say is initially we created the extension to get to use it as a bridge and to get it into Kibana. But you could also just use the application and CloudWatch only without Kibana. Blah blah. So there is. So what is AWS CloudWatch? It's managed service by Amazon. It's for monitoring the application, as I said before, but also other resources you have on AWS, for example, like load balancers or stuff like that, or application HTTP logs and so on. It's basically it's the AWS monitoring suite if you want. So collect and track metrics, blah blah. That should be everything you need when you want to monitor something. You can also, that's also interesting, you can also add alarms to something. For example, like if you want to scale up or scale down depending on the CPU usage, for example, you can add an alarm in CloudWatch, and then you can combine your different services with CloudWatch and get that auto scaling for free. So it's for that for the extension itself, it's not that important, but it's just an introduction to CloudWatch, what you could do with it. And the interesting part is you get it for free, so you don't have to pay for something there if you just want to get the logs there and query it and stuff like that.
Nice.
That's basically everything I said before. So that's a monitoring suite where you can, on the left side, you see there's something with the AWS stuff. You get data into CloudWatch, and there's something like metrics for CPU and so on. You can add alarms. You got statistics. You can add your auto scaling or notifications based on that. And what the application is doing is on the bottom left side of the bottom, your custom data. That's pretty much what the application is doing. So imagine there's a Quarkus application in that box. The application is grabbing the application logs and pushing that stuff to AWS CloudWatch. So just some insights. How does the extension work? It's pretty simple. There's a custom log handler from Java util logging. A formatter as well. I will come to that later and explain why I need a formatter there. Of course, the extension is wrapping some AWS API calls. And that's also obvious. I need some glue code to integrate with Quarkus itself.
So it doesn't integrate with the JBoss logger generally? It just uses Java2 logging, or?
Yeah, I think right now that it's, if I remember correctly, Quarkus is based on JBoss logging, which is extending the Java util logging. But at least I tried it today. This morning, you could within your Quarkus extension, you could either use Java util logging, but also the JBoss logging. So it should work with everything.
Cool.
And so I guess this is sort of a different pattern than some of the extensions we see, because a lot of the extensions, there's an existing library, but it just either could behave much more Quarkusy by moving more stuff to build time, or maybe even because of how Quarkus works in native mode, there's a glitch, and so the extension needs to do something to make the library behave better. But here, what it is there isn't an existing library, it's just a third-party service, and so then we're adding something to Quarkus to make it behave really nicely with that third-party service. Yeah. Nice.
And I can see the Haiku is saying that the only reason, because he worked with you at the same time, the only reason was we had was that we needed to get logged into CloudWatch. There was some strange wrapper program around to get standard up data, but did not get a standard error stream, or vice versa. Yeah, so I guess they were like just grabbing standard out and sending it over manually, but then missed standard error, and then it's just nicer if it's actually hooked into the framework, because then you get it without any external setup. So that's cool.
Okay. I can't see Haku's question, but you could just never mind. We can.
He's just. I think he's just giving you colorful commentary. He said that the normal Qt waves also are available. Just directly sending to CloudWatch was the most easy case. So
yeah. Okay. If there's another question coming in, maybe you could also stop my screen sharing or something like that, or
it's good. Yeah, it's all
okay. Yeah. Okay. Then I will just continue.
Sure.
For example, I mean that's probably true for every extension you build in Quarkus. If you want to expose something to the user and make it configurable and stuff like that, you need to add a configuration class. In this case, that's pretty AWS specific. If I want to work with AWS, I need to, for example, like the access key secret and the key ID. Otherwise, I can't log in. I can't authenticate and stuff like that. I also need a region. A region in AWS is, for example, like EU Center 1. If I want to get what is it? A cluster. If I want to host my services in Frankfurt, for example, instead of in Amsterdam or so, that's just an overview. So they are within the extension. There are some configuration properties you can set in the application properties file to configure the application itself. I think that's pretty standard.
Pretty straightforward.
The second class, I called it the handler value factory. But the class is also pretty simple. What it's doing, it's getting the configuration, the config file from here within the constructor. Then I added some pseudocode here just to keep it as easy as possible. And then it creates the client to connect to AWS. By using these config files, by using the key and the secret and stuff like that. But it's also creating the log handler I said before. So basically, it's the glue code or taking the business logic or the handler and the formatter and combining it with Quarkus. So just a small introduction to the log handlers. I mean, basically, a log handler is the manager of the log files if you want. So, for example, like if you want to reject messages when, for example, in the extension, if you are logging on the info level, but the default of the extension is on 1, you won't get the application logs pushed to CloudWatch, for example. So that's basically what the handler is doing. It's just managing everything which is important for the log files. Yeah, that's what I said before. Yeah, by default, Java util comes with some handlers, but in this case, there was just no handler which could do, what I want to do. Yeah, like create a connection to AWS and just push the log files into AWS. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's clear. Yeah, that's how the handler looks like. It's extending the Java util logging handler. Yeah, there are some methods I have to override. I think the most important one is the publish one. As you can see there, it's getting a log record, which is yeah, the Quarkus rocks line we saw in the console picture before. The first pseudocode thingy, skip log level below configured log level, is what I said before. It's just if the record would be on info, then it would be skipped when the Quarkus conversion is on one. Are you still there?
Yeah. I was thinking.
Just watching the screen, it's uncommon.
Yeah, no, I was thinking this looked really familiar because I don't know if you know, but I did this ridiculous Minecraft extension, which has sort of a similar idea. So it uses, instead of the logging service being CloudWatch, the logging service is a Minecraft server, and you can sort of send your logs and it comes up in the game. And so it's similar. And then I've only just now remembered the reason it's so similar is because I don't know if it was you or Heiko or who did it, but someone wrote a blog about this extension. And so I took all your code and copied and pasted all your code into my extension. So retrospectively, thank you for that. It was very useful.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, okay. The second line is, yeah, that's one reason why, yeah, initially we created the extension to get the logs from the application to Kibana, and that's why there's this format line, format log record to Elastic Common Schema format. So yeah, by default, the log record is something like, yeah, a timestamp and then the message itself, I think. And in Kibana, it's common to get a specific format which is called the ECS, Elastic Schema format or Common Schema. Which is basically it's JSON with some attributes like add timestamp for the timestamp, add message for the message, and so on. That's what I'm doing in the extension as well. If there's someone else who does not like that format and wants to keep it simple in CloudWatch, just leave an issue in GitHub, please, so I can just make it configurable. Or yeah, I could also add other formats if you want. Just let me know. Yeah, so, okay, after formatting the log record to the expected format, creating a CloudWatch logging object, which is part of the AWS API. And in the end, I'm storing that log record in a queue, or we are storing that. It was not only me who built that. Yeah, so basically every time a log record comes in, we are storing that in a queue, yeah, because of performance reasons, and we don't want to, for example, like if we would have that application running on 100 pods or so, and there would be heavy load on it, then I do not want to create a connection to CloudWatch every time a log comes in, and I do not want to push that every time. I just want to store it and just bulk it somehow.
And how does that queue get emptied? On the next log, or does it send it?
There's a maximum of I think it's storing 10K or so. I'm not sure. I think it's well, let me think about it. And there's a worker thread which is querying the queue over and over again. I think it's every 5 seconds or so by default. And yeah, when it's only publishing logs to Kibana to CloudWatch when there are entries inside. So, but it's So every 5 seconds, it checks the queue and then sending everything which is inside within that time frame.
Okay.
Okay.
It means it does get sent eventually. It doesn't wait until the queue fills up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Yeah, and then on the close, it's basically it's just it's taking care that when you, for example, when you scale down your pod or you just kill your pod, no message which is in the queue gets lost. So it's sending the last messages within that queue, and after that it's killing the threads. So I think it's also nothing special. As I said, there's a formatter for the for the elastic current schema format. Nothing to add here, I think. Could also be interesting for others. The Elastic Common Schema Format is an open source specification developed by the Elastic user community. So it's you could also use it within CloudWatch or something else if you like the schema. Just do it. Common set of Okay, so that's a very simplified version of the formatter. But what the formatter is doing is extending the Java util formatter, and then it's getting a format method which I have to override. As a parameter, I will get the record as well, or again. And as I said before, the record itself is that one log line, which is doesn't have a format, or at least not a JSON format. And what the extension is doing is it's getting that record and it's formatting to the ECS format, and then giving it back to the extension as a string.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Now we made the application or the extension. Sorry, I always want to say application, but it's an extension. We made it configurable by using the CloudWatch config class. So we had things in our application properties. We also created a value factory before, which is doing some things with it, and the formatter and stuff like that. And what this one is doing is it's basically the last glue code to combine the Java util logger extension stuff with Quarkus. So I think that's pretty much it. Now I can give you a demo of how it works and how
Hooray.
Okay, well, I will have to, okay.
One thing I realized is that the nice thing with this extension is it does a very specific small thing. And it's, already Holly showed that others could pick it up and either send stuff to Minecraft or send it to other services like Datadog or Sentry. I guess we have Sentry too that does similar. It's a nice way of hooking in a special logging service. So cool.
It's pretty simple. Okay. So I will start screen sharing again. Wait.
Yep.
Screen one, and let's go. I will just start with a very, very basic Quarkus application on code.quarkus.io. Group is that one I'm using every time.
Can you zoom in just a little bit because it's a bit tiny?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, just zoom in. Yep. But one more.
One more? Okay, you got two. Quarkus, I don't know, CloudWatch, demo, like this. So I think that should be enough. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you have it in the list here too, right? Is in here?
Sorry?
If you search for CloudWatch, it shows up here.
But I'm not sure.
There you go.
No.
That's
well, there's still something to do on my side, I guess.
I think it's probably platform versus Quarkiverse.
Yeah, just do it again, CloudWatch. And you can click one and other.
Where is it?
the one in other. It says one in platform and then one in other, just below.
Hello.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
the one. Yeah.
I just got used to getting it from the Maven repository.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I'm just getting old. So, okay, there it is. I will put that in my dev folder. Where it is there. So let's open that one in IntelliJ. Oh, not that one, but that. So yes, I trust my projects. Okay. So that's, yeah, a pretty basic Quarkus application. It just contains a REST resource called hello, and then if you do a GET request on it, you get that message back from Quarkus. Yeah, and what needs to be done to just yeah, well, how do I start? I will just add a logger to get that into my application logs, like here. And after that, I will add the extension to get it there, but also in CloudWatch. So get resource.
And if you zoom in just a tad bit here, that'll be nice too.
I'm sorry?
If you can zoom in a little bit here too, because the font is getting a bit small.
Okay. I guess you want me to add the presentation mode?
Yeah, that will be good too. So perfect.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I will just add a warning here. This is a warning or something like that. So, and if I would like to Quarkus dev, I should start successfully. What's so big? But yeah, it looks good. Let's see. So there a hotkey for. Okay, now it should be ready to get queried 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And yeah, that's what I expected to see. I got 4 warnings with my application log. That's, yeah, nothing special. So if I want to get it into CloudWatch as well, there are just a few steps that needs to be done. Of course, I need to get into the POM XML and add the dependency itself, otherwise it can't work. CloudWatch, there it is. Reload, otherwise it's probably not working. Okay. So, okay, back to the console. And if I would start the application now, then I would probably get a lot of 5 issues I should get now. Yeah, there's a region. The region was one of the 5 things I had in the config class before. And what I need to do now is I need to check the documentation, of course. So it's a bit hidden. I need to edit the README file here. So, but there's, if you follow the links, there's a table of different configuration properties you can use, and everywhere where there's, for example, like the log level, there's a 1 as a default. If you're not setting that property, it's on default, of course. But yeah, 5 things that needs to be added to the application properties is, for example, like the access key ID and the secret. Otherwise, you can, you just can connect to CloudWatch. Same is true for the region and some specific things for logging in CloudWatch. So what I'm doing now is I will add these 5 things to the application properties. Yeah.
So you have to specify all 5 things, or are there some of them default?
Yeah. You have to. So
Okay.
yeah, I just prepared it. Okay, the region is in Frankfurt for AWS. It's a EU Central one. The log group and the log stream name, they are not present yet. I have to create these two on AWS, but I will do that now. And the key ID and the key secret, usually I would have to add that here, but I don't want to share my secret with you, so
You friendly.
I added these two as an environment variable, so it should work as well.
Sounds good.
Okay, so presentation mode. Okay, so now we got everything within the application besides the log group and the log stream name, and that's what we would like to add in AWS now. I need to log in, of course. It wants my password as well, and my second factor. There it is. Okay. That's the what is it called? Services dashboard in AWS, and the service we want to work with is CloudWatch. You could also search for it in the search field for both. So as I said before, that you can do a lot of things like creating alarms, dashboards, and so on. And if you just want to get your logs into CloudWatch, you need to get to the log group section. There's a backup I created before, but we will create a new one now. Hello, Quarkus log group. So there it is. Okay, back to the application, to the ID. Log groups, that one. Now we need that log stream name, and we are ready to go. Within that log group, we can create a log stream. Log. I will just use the same name, but with stream instead of group. So, okay, there's a log stream, which does not contain anything so far. Okay, back to the application properties. Paste that stuff here. Enter presentation mode again. And okay, we added the warning here. We configured everything, so we should be ready to go. Even Quarkus dev. So any chance to read what it's doing there? No. Okay. Yeah, never mind. As you can see here, it added the extension and it came up successfully. So if we would, where is it? There. If we would trigger this endpoint here, then we would expect that warning in the logs again, but also within that log stream we added before in AWS. So if I'm going to that endpoint and I'm triggering it 1, 2, 3 times, back to the IDE, then we get it here. That's what we got before, but we should also see it here within some seconds. I think it takes some time. It's faster than I thought it would be. So So right now that's you got your log stored within AWS, and it's not on your local machine anymore, or within the pod disk or something like that. So and what you can also see is like what I explained before is that line would be a log record, which was I showed that in the code snippets before, and what the formatter is doing is it's just formatting that stuff to the JSON format you see here. timestamp, a log level, the message itself. Yeah.
So the settings you have, like the log group and stuff, that would one of them make more sense because you're running this on your local machine? Well, yeah, local machine. But if you're sharing credentials, you'll be fighting on the same log group. Is that like you use log group to separate users or run modes or?
Yeah, there's. So, for example, if you would run an application 2 times or maybe 3 or 10 pods or so, and then all 10s could share the same log group and the same log stream, if I remember correctly. And there's something called what's sequence handler. It should be in the handler.
You can zoom in a bit again, that'll be good.
There's something called sequence token. So where is it? So yeah, as I said before, the worker thread is it's getting the sequence token every time he wants to push things to AWS, and if I remember correctly, without that sequence token, the first pod who's grabbing the log stream, would just be able to exclusively use it. So the sequence token is you just needed to use the same log stream but with different producers. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope yeah. Okay. It's clear to you.
Yeah.
Not sure.
I was just wondering if what you would use to kind of separate them, so oh, I'm looking at my logs and not 10 others. Those thing. But it looks like there are like 2 or 3 different ways to tweak it down. So that's good. Cool.
Okay. Yeah. Back to the presentation. Oh, I think that's pretty much it. I also have a link, a list of blog posts and stuff like that. So maybe,
Sure.
Yeah, I can share it later. And
we can share the link to the presentation, then we'll put it into the YouTube.
Maybe it's interesting or important for others.
Yeah. I can totally recommend the blog on this extension.
And I see Heiko is. I can turn off your screen. Oh, that was not.
Yeah, I just did it myself.
He's in Heiko in notifications, which I think is the product he's working on. The log group is the app name, and the host name is the log stream name. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So you have a log group that is static, and then you adapt it. The log stream, you give it some, a host name, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. Okay. Anything else you want to share on this, Bennet?
I'm actually done, I would say. So that's nothing on my list so far.
So was that? So when did you actually start the Quarkiverse extension here? Was that like a year ago, or?
Yeah, I think it was at the beginning of last year, March or so. Yeah. Not sure. Maybe Heiko remembers.
Was there any? So what I'm asking is there anything that was it just easy, or was it stuff that was struggling that we could do better, or?
Yeah, well, I guess it's just me. So I just started with it, and then I started with the Java util handler first, and just played around with it a bit. And Heiko did some stuff there as well. And later, then I wanted to just. I actually thought it would be, very straightforward, and just have to add the dependency and stuff like that, and then it's working automatically.
Okay.
But later, then I found a blog post of, I think. Was it you? And I'm not sure, but that blog post was about 5 pages or so, but just too much for me as a developer. I just wanted to get code and stuff like that. So
the docs for Quarkiverse was too detailed, or
yeah, it was too detailed. At least to me, I just thought, hey, come on, only 3 classes. How hard could it be? Yeah, but yeah, I mean, in the end, I also wrote a blog post about it, which is probably a bit shorter and a bit not that detailed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's not that hard to get something in Quarkiverse.
Yeah. It's always fun to find the right balance between not writing enough and be told I can't figure it out for my case, and it's too much information. I just need it for my basic case. And like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that's good. Wait, it's there. It's maintained. It's been released. It's not like it was impossible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, what is also great is you get a lot of things for free when you. I think if I remember correctly, you just have to add is it an issue or a pull request?
Yeah, we try to make it as simple but still manageable for everyone. So you start by creating an issue, and then we have a record of like.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. And then yeah.
Then we have an automatic creation of the repository, and that repository gets initialized with a project that is has all the GitHub actions and for releasing and building and all that good stuff. So the only thing you have to worry about is adding those 3 classes that you said. That's the thing. At least in the optimal case.
So, yeah, that's actually cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
Oh, I've got one more question. For in your extension, when you were demoing it, when you first added it, but you didn't have the config, it barfed out lots of errors. And is there a way to disable it in dev mode, but still have it running in prod mode so that you don't get the errors, but that you're not sending your stuff up to CloudWatch?
So you want to add the application, but you want to you want to have the dependency and stuff like that here, but you want to disable it for now, for example.
Yeah. So I'm developing on a plane, or I don't want to send all my dev logs to CloudWatch.
Yeah, wait. So I will just share my screen for now. So yeah, I think that you can, if I got it correctly, you can just disable that one for now. And by default, it's on true, and that's why we got the issues. But if you want to edit it, but you are in a plane or something like that.
Or you can press dev disabled.
I don't know what the behavior of CloudWatch is, but in general, what we say to extensions writers is that when you're running dev mode, it is better to be asking for good. It's not true. It's better to not fail, at least make it fail in a way that you can actually continue doing development. So in this one, I would assume if you fail in dev mode, it shouldn't actually hard fail you. Whereas in production, you want it to be, hey, you better provide all the settings because otherwise you don't get logs.
And I'm actually not sure. I mean, you should also get the logs on your console in the IDE or in the terminal. That they won't get published to CloudWatch, I think so.
But try if you run your app and you don't specify the keys, what happens in dev mode?
Yeah, there's a validate method which gets called and checks that stuff, and you're just throwing exceptions into thing.
Okay, so it will actually halt the startup of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's true, but yeah.
Right. So in general, I would say it should just print an error and then continue. But
it should be just. I think it's illegal argument section. So yeah, just a runtime exception. I think so. It should not stop the application itself.
Yeah, I think what we saw is a stack trace, but the application kept going, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Then it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. We could also try that out if you want.
Yeah. Well, we can. Let's try. We have time. Yeah. So, no, and the reason why I think it's important is that we had over the years cases where we added like features like Hibernate extension. Suddenly, it wouldn't let you start up Quarkus Dev if you didn't have an entity. For example, it's like, but I need to write the entity first, which dev mode lets you do. So it's good to have it.
It's the wrong project.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, not important to see what I'm typing there. I just want to. Sorry. I should get the same behavior when I just comment that stuff out. So, and now I'm expecting to get the one exception with the lock group missing. Yeah, there's an illegal state exception, but it looks like the application is still running. But well, let's see. Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh yeah, no, that's not so happy, is it?
Yeah, so it's making it fail hard. So it's running, so you can fix the situation. So you should be able to go now and put CloudWatch enable equal false into your file. Can you try that? Just to
Sure. Sorry, I just
not restarting anything. Assuming.
Well, wait, I will do it. So what you expected to get is something else besides another not an illegal state, but something like an illegal argument or so.
Well, if you just put Quarkus CloudWatch enable false, it should stop being annoying. Oh, sorry, being annoying. Yeah.
So.
And just input again.
And I think Echo suggested that in the comments as well.
Oh, now you restart. You didn't do the.
Yeah, I don't have to do that, I guess. So I think I could just query that one in the browser again, and then it should work as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Now we got it disabled, and the application is still running as expected.
Got it.
Okay.
So. Oh, nice.
Nice.
Well, cool. We are at the 53 time mark. So.
I actually thought I would talk about that 30 minutes or so.
Oh,
it's because we kept interrupting you with questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Heiko. And thanks, Max and Holly.
Cool. But Bennet, as always, great thanks for taking the time to come and talk, but also great thanks for actually making the extension and expanding the Quarkiverse.
You're welcome.
Very happy with that. And Holly, any comments on the phone?
No, thank you. Very useful.
Welcome to 2023. We will continue doing the insights is the plan. If you have suggestions, idea on what we should put on in 2023, let us know. We have an issue tracker and Quarkus for just insights. And if you get an email about a T-shirt from Quarkus, it's possibly not a scam. It's correct. See you in 2023, and thank you.
Thank you.